So that's a lot just to handle by yourself and go through while taking care of your children and on top of all you do in the community. So how are you able to push through that situation?
I'm going to say three things. Number one, God. Number two, my children and their expectancy of me to perform and to be productive and to be present. And number three, my word is my bond. So when you talk about serving in the community, I made commitments. I said, I'm going to be there. I'm going to do ABC, period. And I remember my cousin who recently passed this year. She came to one of the events, and I didn't want to be there. It was actually on my birthday. And I made it on my birthday because I thought, oh, this is going to be so cool. And she just kept following me around, but she wouldn't say anything because she knew I was the furthest. But I had to deliver. I had to be present. I had to do what I needed to do. And I thank God for the people who still stood up and supported me. Mr. Al-Jabbar at the time was the president of the NAACP. He showed up with his donations from the chapter. At the time, Superintendent Tricia McManus, she showed up and engaged with the crowd. And it all made sense. My plan of what I had intended all came together. Donna Gilmore allowed me to use the parking lot across the street from the funeral home that they own. Everything program-wise was perfect, so I had to live and be in that moment. But there's times in our life where we want to climb under a rock, but we still have to show up because we gave our word. I will say that some of those times I probably should have canceled those events because my mental health was not in a great space, but somehow I still produced. I said, whoa, this is nobody but God, because I'm in here and I'm doing my thing and I'm speaking and I'm connecting, I'm making impact, but on the inside, you could buy me for a penny with a hole in it. And then cut it in half and you could buy me for that, because that's just how low I felt on the inside. But God kept allowing me to propel. Like, He was giving me the energy. He was giving me the intelligence. He was giving me the emotional intelligence to present myself regardless of how I felt on the inside. So I just kept showing up. And then I got a call from Greater Winston-Salem, who oversees Senior Academy. And she said, you know, your name was on the list. How about I done messed around and clicked it, right? When you do your volunteer application every year, I done clicked Senior Academy. I didn't even know what Senior Academy was. But she kept calling and saying, please let's link. I want to introduce you to the program. So one day I just said, all right, I'm going to meet this lady because she's persistent and I like persistent. So let me go see her. I go see her. I sign up to go and help an at-risk student who is likely going to drop out. Now imagine your psyche. I'm depressed. I'm embarrassed. I feel humiliated. I don't know if the whispering is about me, in favor of me, against me. And I'm supposed to go help another kid who says that they don't want to do school anymore because they have things going on at home. I said, God, is you serious? Not are you serious? Is you serious, big homie? Because you know I'm messed up in the game. He said, yeah, I'm serious. And every week I went. And I even went after beyond the time that we were required to go because that's how invested I was. Then they called me and said, I got another student for you. So I'm mentoring 2 students at the lowest time of my life. God said, get up and go. Get up and go. Get up and shower. Get up and go. Because I used to think, okay, once I get my children in school, because I'm an entrepreneur. I said, once I get my children in school, I can go home and I can cry. I can ball up and I can cry. And I can feel sorry for myself and no one can see me. And God said, yeah, you could, but I need you to do something. Then I get a call from Sarah Squire, Carolina Ford. They said, hey, we have this money. We heard you're the person for the job. You ready? I'm like, have you seen the news, boo? Because I'm in it. It's not so great. She said, yeah, we saw the news, but we don't have anything to do with that. We know you can do this because we've seen you do it. Now, are you ready to do it on a bigger scale? That's how the Pink Vote came.
Wow. Tell the people about the Pink Vote. And
the Pink Vote is my baby. It is where we registered over 1,000 constituents in Forsyth County and actually Davidson County and Guilford. Because when you go to the bus station downtown, there are people that are down there, but they don't live in Forsyth County. Yeah. But I still registered them anyway. Yeah, we just had all these programs, all these fun programs around the city, feeding people, and not only feeding them with food, but feeding them with knowledge and encouraging them. And then when I got to go back and pick them up and take them to vote, I mean, I was like a kid in the candy store, and some of them were laughing at me. And they said, girl, you so crazy about this voting thing. I said, I know, but I'm just so happy you allowed me to take you. Like, that follow through was so important for me, because, anybody can register somebody, which is the first step, and which is a very important step. But if you don't follow through and get them to the polls, I mean, what are you doing? And being able to do that, it kept me. God said, I'm going to make room for you. I'm going to make space for your talent. And when you think you're going to go home and crawl in a ball and feel sorry for yourself, you're going to be too busy. And then I got the call, hey, I need you to manage my campaign. I said, you seen the news, right? You seen it? It's me, and I'm the only person with that name. And then I got another call, hey, I need you to help me with my campaign. Hey, I had somebody, but I need you. I'm like, y'all seen the news, right? Did you watch it? Because I'm in it, and it's not good. And they was like, yeah, but you're the best, and I want to win. So, you ready? And those are things that kept me going, because God made room for me with my talents.
He always does, every time. Mm-hmm. So like you mentioned, you've worked on campaigns, you've helped people win campaigns, you've seen all the work that goes into it. Why would you want to run for office after seeing like all the stuff that goes on in politics? Why did you decide this was the move for you?
I prayed. I have ADHD, so I asked God, send me a couple of more signs. I said, send me a couple of more signs, because I know that if I do something and you sanctioned it, I'm going to be okay. If I do something and you haven't sanctioned it, I'm going to work like a dog, and there will be no real rewarding results. Been there, done it, I know better now. And then everything just kept lining itself up. Like I told you, I'd never been away from my kids more than 2.5 days. So to go to school for 5 days was a big deal. And technically it was 6. And everything just kept lining itself up. I mean, people always ask when you're going to run. But when people who are not involved in politics care less about it, and I know they hadn't voted, because they told me, said, when are you going to run? I'm going to support you. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, you are? I'll vote for you. And it just kept happening. And I kept saying, okay, God, I think I see the sign. I'm going to go for it. But the night before I announced, I said, God, please, if this ain't for me, please, I don't care what you do, crash my phone to where I can't turn it back on again. So then I know that I'm just seeing stuff and it's not what you want me to do. And I really want to help my community. I really want a chance. I know people think that, I do have a few things that I don't care for about the current seat holder for county commissioner at large. But honestly, I just want a chance. I want a chance to try to do things differently for my community, because I think one thing that I do better than many of the politicians in our city is not only do I listen, but I implement from those sessions. A lot of people can host listening and community talks, but you ain't did shit. I mean, I'm sorry.
You good. You're right, but that's it. Like, that's all. But talking only gets you so far. And like you said, that action after the talks is what really matters.
Yeah, and so just genuinely trying to figure out what's the avenues that we need to take for things that are going on in our community is important, but you got to talk to the people, you got to hear them out, and then you have to implement. But when you're implementing, and while you're implementing, bring the community with you. So you can't misstep if y'all stepping together. But too many people trying to step alone, step in front, step the quickest, and ain't did nothing. You know?
So what's some of the things that you would want to address once you're elected, if you're elected?
So one thing that I would want to address, one of the biggest things that I would want to address is education within our county. We can do better.
Yeah.
We can do better. And I think if we have those conversations with the community and explain to them why we need to increase taxes, if that's the avenue that we need to go, because that's how the county commissioner is ran. It's based off of property taxes. If that's the avenue that we need to go, we need to sit down with our community and say, hey, listen, we need to increase taxes because of this. And we need not to be spending our money on stupid pickleball courts when we have kids over here that can't read. What is a pickleball court? I'm serious. It is a court with pickles on it. Do it look like a pickle? Do it smell? What is that? But we have children on the east and the north and the south side of town who cannot read. That money could have been more beneficial there. And no offense to Caladium, nice place, but it doesn't come before the education of our kids. Unless Caladium is going to be down there teaching them how to read for free 99, there was a better allocation of that money. So education is my biggest one. I also want to figure out how we can utilize because the county commission has special appropriation dollars. They also have a gap fund, and they also have a department of community development. I want to figure out how we can do affordable housing, because so many people, because I am a realtor, right? A licensed realtor, and I get so many messages, and they're just trying to find a place to stay, and it breaks my heart that most of the people living here cannot afford housing, right? And so then they're on the Section 8 voucher that they're afraid to lose, because if they have to go cold turkey and pay market rate, they cannot afford it. They're going to lose their vouchers, they're going to lose their food stamps, they're going to lose any benefits that they have and be paying market rate rent at the same time. They will be homeless in less than a year. And there have been, 700 evictions filed. Wow. In this county alone. Could you imagine 700 displaced families? Well, it's happening. And so I want to figure out how we can use some of those special appropriation dollars to build a program for affordable housing. And link with builders who care about affordable housing, who care about individuals in impoverished areas being homeowners, but affordable homeowners, not house poor, because people buy houses and then they are house poor.
That's true.
And if you don't know what that means they bought a house but they can't afford it. And that means you can't enjoy it. And that's not a good feeling. So education, affordable housing, most definitely public health, most definitely safety, public safety. Those are a given. Those two are a given. But what do I want to do differently? I want to approach education, and I think which burned the rubber off the bottom of my sneakers is when we did not bail out our school system. We should have bailed them out. You deal with them knuckleheads mismanaging the money, can't count, whatever. They need a calculator, whatever they needed. You deal with them knuckleheads later. But we should have bailed out our own. Because if we don't take care of home, if we don't take care of our own, we can't expect the state to say, well, the county commissioners didn't help. The city didn't throw anything. Community partners didn't step up. Now, yes, they need to put in some programming and some oversight committees or something like that. Because, $13 million. You know what I'm saying? So, and actually 42 million plus counting. They're trying to balance the books, but it look like they in a juggling act because, ain't no balancing coming through. But I think that we should have taken care of our home, because the true people who are at the greatest hit of the budgetary concerns were students and teachers. And we don't pay teachers enough. You can't be nothing in this world without a teacher. And we play around with their money? Man, no. So those are the things that I'm passionate about, and I want to work really hard to change those things. And no, things won't be changed overnight, but I want to work really hard to move in those directions and bring the community with me, that this is the community county commissioner and not just the county commissioners thinking that they know everything, which come to find out many of them don't. Just attend the meeting, So, and that goes for city council as well, because y'all don't get a pass.
Why the county commissioners though? Because when I knew you were going to run, me personally, I thought it would be school board, because you're passionate for the community.
Everybody thought that.
And how you work with kids. So I just thought it would be, why county commissioner?
So let me say this: I love kids. I love going into the schools. I'm invited to go there, so I go. I think the way that I address the issues that persist in our school system is that I give back by being PTA president, being on the PTA board, giving back to the school. I see myself most effective in giving back directly, which is why I participate in Senior Academy, PTA, whatever, multicultural night at the school. I mean, whatever it is, whatever my kids' teachers need, I got you. Don't even worry about that. I think that's how I address and I hope that through my Facebook posts, I encourage my friends to take a couple of steps out there and do some things differently. And I think I have. But school board was never in the lights for me.
So, as I mentioned earlier, you worked on a lot of campaigns, helped a lot of people get into office. Which one of those campaigns inspired you the most? And what did you take away from that campaign that you still take with you on this journey that you're on?
With all the campaigns that I worked on, which one inspired me the most? To be very honest, working in conjunction with the campaign, the state campaign for the Vice President Kamala Harris running for presidency again was the most influential for me for a multitude of reasons, but more so is because at the 10th hour, she's thrown into the game and she does it flawlessly. She's unapologetic, she's unbossed, she's unbought. That was the most influential for me. I love the pantsuit, which is hence why you see me wear a lot of pantsuits. It's because that is what our vice president fancies. And so I was like, you know what? And so I brought my first little pantsuit, like my first real nice one. And I said, you know what? I feel like a real boss in this. Like this feels very powerful. It feels very, I feel oozing out with empowerment to also give to others and empower others. And so I think that that's probably the most influential campaign that I have ever participated in.
Okay. And what did you take away from maybe a local campaign that you worked on that you take with you through your journey?
Ooh, she's probably going to get me for this. But I'm going to tell it, and I'm going to let her pop my hand later if she needs to. Working on attorney Shauna Alexander's campaign now, Judge Shauna Alexander, is that she went in for an endorsement, local law enforcement. And at some point, I think it was after the interview, they began to ask her questions about me. And I immediately thought, I just cost someone an endorsement. My issue, my negativity just cost someone an endorsement because she has worked too hard in her career and in her life. She deserved it. And I was sick. And I said, God, I need you. I need you to handle this for me because, she's running for a judicial position. She needs the backing of law enforcement, and she didn't have it. God said, hold on, baby. That's a recommendation. Now I'm going to put you in position to show them that that's just a recommendation. But this community will have the last say-so. And so what I took from that was that if even in that moment when I am running and I know that this issue will come up, that I better continue and to remember to always trust God. And when He has something for you, no one can really do anything about it, even if they try.
True.
So I took a very, religious example from that. Something that I felt was very undeserving happened to her, and God said, I got it. You keep doing what I told you to do. I got this right here. So.
And I know you talked a little bit about the at-large seat and who's in there right there. Dan Betsy, I think, is in that seat right now. What do you think you would bring to the Board of Commissioners that isn't already there?
Transparency, community advocacy, actionable items, genuineness, glue that brings together District A and District B. Not only just making sure that the Republicans who hold the majority of the council right now receive the things that they're seeking, but make sure that we are keeping an eye on the things that are necessity needs in District A. Right?
That's interesting because a lot of people don't know how much the county is accountable for in the city. And how do you change that? Because a lot of people don't even, like you said, they already don't go to city council meetings. So they're definitely not going to the county commissioners.
Man, they'd be dead now. So that's the thing. So I also want to change the culture of how citizens, African American, brown, more particularly, because when the meetings are packed, it is majority packed with white constituents. And I love y'all, and I ain't got no problem with y'all. But what I want to change is the culture around how we govern in this city and county. Listen, when you elect someone to represent your district, ward, or whatever precinct, it is really, they're a representative, but you have to work alongside of them to make sure that they are fighting for the things that are relevant to that district or ward. I want to change that to where it's not just, that's my county commissioner and she making decisions for us, and sometimes she done forgot about us. She barely speak to us. No. I want you right there with me. Hey, listen, I'm your county commissioner. I was thinking about advocating for this. What do you think? Do you think that this is the best route that we need to go for your community or for our community? I want the community right there with me. So when I'm making decisions, ain't no way I can make decisions that harm my community because I made them with my community. And what people think is that once you are elected, you are making decisions for your community, when in reality, you need to be making decisions with your community, because that's the difference. We have too many people making decisions for the community and ain't even talk to the community, don't even know the community. Community don't even know you. They don't even know you. They don't even know their district. They don't know you. And here you are, making decisions for people you ain't even talked to since the last time you was knocking on their door, begging for a vote, and they haven't seen you since, and they won't see you again until they back begging, knocking on your door, for a vote. That's what I want to bring. I want to change the culture. I want the city, I want the county and the city, I want y'all right there with us so we cannot fail this community. Too many people in elected officials, too many elected officials have failed this community because they've been too busy trying to make decisions for somebody and not with them.
That's real. And what's your thoughts on the current state of the county as a whole?
I mean, of course, it's Republican ran, but even still, with it being Republican ran, I still believe that we could do a lot of great things together, because no matter what you do, districts are drawn how they're drawn, and some of them are drawn specific to Democrats and some are drawn specific to Republicans, and that's just how it is. And there's every now and then you can go in there and you can flip a district or a ward, and that's like, if that's been Republican driven for 25 years and now you're a Democrat and you come in and you sweep it up, that's flipping a district or a ward. And I really, really feel like if we were more strategic in how we did things, we could help each other across the aisle, because this community is a melting pot. And as a Democrat, I would never open my mouth to say I wouldn't want to help a Republican. Okay, I want to help citizens, okay, devoid which party you belong to. And I don't think that our board has strategically worked together for the good of this community. They have not strategically worked for the good of this community. They have worked for their biases. Well, I want this for my district and I want that for my district, but not thinking about things holistically so we can work together.
Have you had conversations with any other commissioners that's currently on the board and how they're working through some of the issues that they have right now, especially with the school?
So they made their decision. They made their decision not to bail out the school system, and the reason why they stated that they didn't, I did a podcast with Dr. Melisha Woodbury, and she broke down a lot of things. I mean, that podcast was phenomenal, because even I was sitting there learning some things. I was like, okay, thank you. And she was just explaining that the reason why they didn't bail them out is because if they take money out of that pot that they could have bailed them out of with, it lowers their bond rate, right? In which that they trade in to build new schools, and they have a credit score, right? It's like a credit score. And so if you're taking that money out, it lowers your credit score, like it's like one of those type of accounts. And so they didn't want to lower their bond rate, because they plan to trade those bonds in soon, to build another school. And, I'm like, okay, I understand the credit and the bond rate, but you're worrying about building another school when the schools that are already standing are in trouble and they're sinking, right? And so, that was their reason, but then that was my, with the knowledge that I have, that was my perspective. Like, I'd love a new school, who wouldn't? But at the same time, if the ones that are standing are floating in water because they're about to drown, then I would save the ones that are standing right now.
So we had a wonderful conversation here. That's all the questions I have for you on here. I know we've got a relationship where we can talk for forever, but we've laughed, we've cried. But what's your final message to the people, and what would you say to them to get them to vote for you?
I hope that I have done a thorough enough job to explain what happened between the chief and I and brought tangible evidence. So it's not just a biased perspective, but it is the truth that can be backed. And I hope that I'll be given grace. I don't agree with how I responded to everything that was happening to me in my life, but it was an experience that was unique to myself, and I want to be given grace, and I want people to see me as the community advocate that I've worked so hard to build on. And I hope that I will be given a true chance to be considered for county commissioner. I hope that this incident has not tainted my ability to really implement change within our county.
And where can people find out more about your campaign?
They can follow me on my Facebook page. It is Q for County Commissioner at Large on Facebook. And you can follow me on my personal page because I'm pretty open. It's not a private page. I'm actually funny on there some days, and I have cute kids.
And do you have anything planned for your campaign? I know you got pink vote, and I know you're going to have some good food and stuff going on. So what you got planned coming for the campaign?
So we are actually going to have a fish fry at the end of this month. I know it's going to be on a Monday. I know fish is typically on a Friday, but this young man, his name is Brandon Johnson, he reached out to me and he said, hey, I would love to give to your campaign, and I'm able to give in this capacity. And this is what I love about, when you give and it's in a humble way. You don't always have to donate financially to a campaign. You also don't always have to volunteer knocking on doors, canvassing, or calling people. Sometimes you can come to the table and bring the talents that you already naturally possess to help a campaign. So he is donating this fish fry to me and allowing me to reap the proceeds from it as his in-kind donation to my campaign, and I'm grateful for that. So I'm going to have a fish fry coming up. I'm also going to be at Hoots bar downtown where we're going to have a cowboy theme and do line dancing and things of that nature. So I'm really excited.
Okay. Well, again, I thank you so much for sitting down with me. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see what's next for you. And you can make sure you go read the story about me and Quamekia in next week's paper. Thank you.